Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, this time with the P-51D-20. Compared to its fellow Mustangs, you'll find that this is an upgrade on the original D model, sporting a larger tail section for improved handling, while retaining the original Packard Merlin engine. Now, this is still an upgrade over the Allison-powered Mustangs that you'll find, whether it's the Cannon Stangs or the P-51A if you are one of the few people that have that. So, you will find that you still have decent performance, but you're not as strong as something like a P-51D-20, which sports both an upgraded engine and the improved airframe. Your armament consists of 3 50 cals per wing, which the 50 cals are pretty hit or miss in terms of damage right now, but with how much range they have, they still can be a pretty effective armament, even if you're not one-shotting people. I get a hit on the BF-109, but because of the range and his amazing Kruppstahl armor, he should be able to just tank it and walk away. And he does have a better climb rate than I do, even though I still have somewhat better performance at altitude, so he will be able to climb away from me. That leads me to the 1v1 with this 190. Because of the velocity on these guns, I'll always be the one to spray first, and with how much ammo I have, it's a liberal amount of spray and pray. If you can put any sort of damage on people, it really helps even out the dogfight because you're not the most maneuverable plane. Entering a dogfight like this, I like to dive before the merge because it influences the enemy to pull down and around. With this, I can use a little bit of the vertical component and pull around a lot faster than they can, which leads them to overshoot me, and if they don't dive out instantly, it puts them right in front of your guns. I get a hit, and I keep laying into him until he's set on fire because I need to secure the kill. Just hitting him a couple times with 50 cals will not be enough to cripple him so that he can't fly back to base. With not many people in the area, I dive to secure my kill, just in case he stops burning. But he's pulling crazy maneuvers like flying in a straight line and slightly turning. So I just have to leave him to burn up, because how could I ever hit a target like that? Fortunately, because it's an engine fire, he doesn't put it out. On to the full game now. I chose this one because I feel like it's a good representation of what it means to play the P-51. I will say though, it definitely does help when you get 4 XP-50s squatted together to help roll half their team to make the game easier for you, which I happen to queue into this game. Now, this is a fairly common situation here. There are people around you that you kind of want to go after, but they're below you, and you really have to consider whether it's worth sacrificing your altitude, which is your lifeblood in the P-51, for these, mid-impact kills. I was originally going to dive on this guy, but I see him going head-on with a B-25, which is never a good idea. That thing is extremely tanky, and it has a lot of 50 cals in the nose, which you wouldn't expect for a bomber, but it makes it really good in head-ons. Behind me are 2 zeros, which makes me glad that I didn't sacrifice my altitude, because that's the only thing I'm going to be able to use against these guys. That and my speed. I'm going to use my 50 cals to my advantage here. They have a boatload of ammo, and anytime I feel threatened, I'm just going to spray them a little bit so that they stop pointing their nose at me. I extend away here, and I'm just waiting for an opportune moment to turn back around so that I'm not in the gun sights of these zeros. It would be really bad to start turning with these guys, and I'd basically instantly die to one of them, let alone 2. Luckily, both of them go after this XP-50, and this gives me an opportunity to loop around. Now, the thing about fighting zeros is they're very slippery. This and the fact that these 2 zero players are particularly willing to die, and this will make them really hard to kill because I can't stick to either one of them for very long. I'm just going to try and make gun runs on them and extend away, because if I stick to them, it's not going to end well for me. In this moment, I'm extending away so that I can get distance again to turn around. And I didn't realize it in the moment, but the cloud is actually helping them lose track of me, and this gives me an opportunity to turn back around sooner than I expected, which is going to be a lot better for putting pressure of them as my team also comes in. I've been saving up all my speed and energy, and now is about the time to cash it in. My team is keeping them distracted, keeping them turning, and it's my job to make passes through the fight to get gunshots in on them. I'm going to try and fake them out by looking like I'm going to target this 1-0, but when the other one pulls away and is distracted, I'm going to switch to him. I get a hit in here, and it's probably not anything important, but it's better than nothing. With this, these Zeros are on such low energy that I don't even need to extend away for very long. It's really feasible for me to just turn around almost instantly because they're constantly being pushed down by my team. Quite honestly, this is a textbook example of how to deal with turn fighters when you're in energy fighters. I'm out diving both of these Zeros, and I really want to go for the guy on the left, but there's no chance that I lose the guy on the right and have him dive on me later. So I'm sure that Corsair can handle having a Zero on his tail, right? I'm spraying here to get any sort of hit, but I don't get anything from it, and then he goes unspotted to the cloud. Luckily, I found his exhaust trail, and I set him on fire, which is going to put him out of the match and make this an easier team fight. And if you look behind, the F4U somehow reversed the Zero that was on his tail. I don't know how he did it, but he did the impossible, so props to him. I fully expected he was going to die, and I'd have to take this fight on my own. Now, even though he was able to shake him off his tail, I don't think he was ever in a position to get gunshots in. The Zero is really hard to line up when you're at low speeds, especially in something bricky like an American plane. That means I'm going to have to go help out to influence that fight, but I don't want to dive straight down. I want to dive at a more shallow angle and try and line myself up for a pass behind him, or just any sort of pass where I can get him while he's stalled out. And the opportune moment arises when I see him at low speeds trying to go head-on. I miss a bit because I'm trying not to team kill, but I do eventually shoot him down with the help of the trusty 50 cals. I don't have any time to think about what I'm going to do in this fight, though, as the BV-155 is coming in hot. I spray to keep him off me because I don't want him to point his nose at me because any round from his guns would one-shot me. I dive down here and pull in, hoping that the XP-50 was closer so that he could shoot him down, but he isn't as close as I would like, and the BV-155 is the last guy in the match here, so I'm just going to sacrifice my life so that the XP-50 can get the gunshot in. He has a little bit of an aimer's moment, but it doesn't really matter in the end because he does get the kill, and I can only die so hard. I would rather get more rewards for myself and my team by baiting and dying, rather than giving that guy 1v1s and losing, and Lord knows, the average XP50 player needs all the help they can get. Now, why do I think people avoid this plane? Well, first of all, when I say that, I'm mostly referring to level 100 players who know the ins and out of the plane like it's the back of their hand. There are a lot of people you'll find who play the Mustang, but really just have no clue how to play it. And I'm hoping that this video can change that. The short and easy answer to that, as most of you probably know, is that it isn't a dedicated turn fighter. You can't just randomly pick it up and play it, and just hold your directional keys to automatically win fights. You have to play your energy, and you have to play it well, and even then, it doesn't always pay off. On top of all of that, you have to know the specifics of all of your enemies' planes as well, because you don't have a one-track game plan that carries you through every fight. You have to know what you can't handle, and what you can take on without taking too large of risks. There are just things that you're going to have to avoid and not take fair fights against. And your 1v1s are going to be super drawn out because of it, because you're going to have to be constantly extending away from them so that you don't automatically lose. And when you have to play this patiently and methodically, it just isn't as engaging for most people, and they would rather play something else. Or they're low level and haven't moved on to better things and don't realize that the P-51 is really a plane that requires a high skill floor. My recommendation, if you're still looking to play a P-51 Mustang, is to start with the P-51C-10, or the F-6C event plane that you can buy on the Gaijin store, which is the French version of the same plane. With this, you lose 2 of the 50 cals, but you have the same engine and the lightest airframe of any of the P-51s. With this reduced armament, it'll teach you to be more accurate with your 50 cals so you can get the optimal damage in. Plus, with the lighter airframe, you'll better learn defensive flying, and you'll be able to lead your shots a little bit more and climb a little bit better. The C model Mustangs are the best Mustangs tier for tier. I don't recommend playing the D model Mustangs unless you really enjoy the P-51D-20, or you just enjoy Mustangs in general. This is a collector's premium and not something I recommend to the general player base. That's all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, remember to, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm hoping to hit 500 subscribers, and at the pace I'm going, it should happen pretty soon, as long as I just keep things up. Also, the Discord has been really active lately, so if you want to be part of a growing community, remember to join that. Other than that, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.